Land reclamation is nothing new in Asia. China, Hong Kong, and Japan have been at it since the 19th century, but has recently reached epidemic proportions. Maritime ecosystems are abruptly transformed as natural islands are artificially conjoined with coastlines, natural shorelines are extended, and artificial islands are built from scratch. In simple way, land reclamation is the process of creating new land from the sea. It is the pouring of large amount of rock, cement, and filling with clay and soil into the sea to create new land, which is also known as landfill. It is mostly to provide extra space for residential, commercial, and industrial development in many of the more developed coastal cities of the countries.
In Malaysia, reclamation of land has been developed aggressively in several states like Penang, Johor and Malacca. In Penang, Penang South Reclamation (PSR) project is to fund Penang Transport Master Plan, which costs 46 billion ringgit Malaysia, besides to add new dots on the map. According to a study, land reclamation in Penang is increasing through years from 0.1% of its total land mass in 1960 to 0.3% in 1980, then to 3.2% in 2015 before the PSR project, which will be adding on the 3 artificial lands to support electronic and electrical industries and also to provide affordable housing. Even though the project are expected to be lucrative project to the developers and the state itself, but it holds a downside on natural ecosystem. According to marine ecologist from University Science Malaysia, Dr. Chi Soo Yin, the spaces or habitats for coastal organisms to grow and breed will be interrupted as the artificial construction such as cement built on top of the complexity natural ecosystem. For example, the nesting site of an endangered species of turtle in Kertak Sanggol also being affected by land reclamation. A vulnerable species listed by the IUCN and a totally protected species, sea otters, have been commonly reported by the media. Therefore, land reclamation in Penang could affect this species, while in Pulau Upeh, Malacca, a major nesting site for hawksbill turtle is at risk as it is only 600 meters away from the shore nowadays. As the land reclamation increases, there are only 13 landing recorded in October 2016 compared to 111 landing of hawksbill turtle in 2011. A Penang-based research officer for the Friends of the Earth Malaysia, Magiswari Sanggaralingam, explained that land reclamation also impacting the local community. 1,500 fishermen protested the project in Pematang Damai Laut, Teluk Kumba and Gertak Sanggol. This is because the project affecting fish and shrimp hatcheries, small-scale fishermen, disturbing marine life habitats as well as their food chain because of the total loss of mudflats. She said the reclamation project have resulted in loss of fishing ground and project activities will adversely impact marine life, the fishery sector, and thus the livelihood of the fisher community. Same goes to Forest City project in Tanjung Kupang, Johor, where fishing communities and fish farm operators were greatly affected, besides also facing environmental damage by causing fish death. In Tanjung Kupang Intertidal Seagrass Meadow, which contains a variety of marine organisms such as dugong and seahorses. She also added that the numerous reclamation projects around the periphery of Penang has changed the island's coastal hydrology and geomorphology. In PSR project, it also involved an estimated 1.89 million cubic meters of sands and rocks hauled from Perak, which also damaging the ecosystems there.
Activities carried out during reclamation such as sand mining and dredging operation followed by backfilling give direct biological impact such as loss of marine benthic ecosystem. The disturbance to bottom sediment from dredging and backfilling will bury and smother bottom dwellers and cause permanent loss of benthos habitat. The extraction of marine sediment causes disturbance and removal of benthic in fauna and epifauna. Reclamation can also disrupt the buffer zone of coastal ecosystems such as mangroves and mudflats. This ecosystem act as natural buffers against wave energy and minimizing the impacts of wave on coastal areas, thus protecting the coastal area from being flooded and eroded due to wave action. The removal of this ecosystem causing a coastal communities vulnerable to flooding. suspension of organics, heavy metals and other pollutants was existed in the sea through dredging activities that causing disturbance to bottom sediments and then lead to coastal water pollution. Dredge material from the land filling release contaminants which give impacts to marine life. In terms of economy, land reclamation will also give impact to the local fishers whose livelihood and source of income depended on the fishing industry. As happened in Penang before, fishermen cannot venture further beyond 8 nautical miles out to the sea.
However, researchers are experimenting with something called ecological engineering or eco-engineering is an emerging field which integrates engineering criteria and ecological knowledge to create more environmentally friendly urban environments by creating artificial habitat on artificial structure and sort of improve the biodiversity that you find on this artificial structure. According to Dr. Chi So-yin again, ecological engineering is meant to be a last effort to be carried out only if all other measures like redeveloping existing area have been exhausted. Hence, ecological engineering has been used increasingly as a solution to mitigate the ecological impact caused by the hardening of shoreline in many parts of the world. Ideally, adopting an ecosystem or hybrid approach, such as the building of shellfish reef in combination with other valuable habitats like mangrove, could be used to help restore ecosystem function and services on artificial coast of the new island. Based on figure 1, it shows a conceptual diagram with providing example of A, which is an artificial island without eco-engineering, and B is the way in which eco-engineering can be applied on an artificial island as a management solution. However, we need more solution in reducing its impact on every aspect, be it for the ecosystem or for the economy of the local people. Development must be organized simultaneously with natural system sustainability to provide bright and long-term uses of natural resources and ecosystem services upon which the economy and our future depend.